Cristian, Ray White Eastern Beaches, mate. Welcome to the carpool, mate. You made it.
Thank you for having me.
So Randwick, Coogee, Clove Valley, obviously in the eastern suburbs of Sydney.
Yes.
Heaps happening in your marketplace. You've been selling properties all over the place. But let's chat about Randwick in particular.
Yes.
How you seen Randwick since January to now, which is in April?
Stock in the houses and semis have been really quite low, which is why I found has held prices fairly strong.
Yeah.
Your apartments, there've been a pretty fair supply of them.
Yeah.
Which is why I've seen them drop in price.
Yep.
But yeah, look, your houses, semis, especially something that's renovated, which I put it down to cost of building at the moment, as well as finding a builder is pretty impossible.
Yeah.
So I'm finding the renovated stocks going a bit better, selling a bit quicker, selling for strong prices.
How are you seeing like Randwick apartments $1.5 million under, kind of like, that 850 to one and a half? Is that just the bread and butter, and that's just, you'll always see a decent amount of supply for and buyers for that kind of segment?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Randwick itself is a very good area to have an investment. Yeah. You've got your hospital, you've got schools, you've got pretty easy transport into the city, so your apartments tend to transact quite a lot.
Yeah.
It's a great area for first home buyers as well. Typically in the past couple of years, it was pretty hard to find something sort of sub 1 million.
Yeah.
But the way the market's pulled back in the last year or so, you can start to find those apartments that are that sub mil, 800,000 to $1 million.
What's your buy feedback been over the last kind of 3 months? Is that right? People like cautious? Are you still seeing decent numbers to your open homes, but are they just taking longer to kind of pull the trigger? I don't know. What's the buy feedback?
Yeah, definitely taking longer to get deals done. Yeah. They are happening, and they're just they're taking that little bit longer. Yeah. Typically, we sell probably about 85% of our stock prior to auction.
Right.
I'm finding at the moment I'm selling them all at auction, or maybe even in some cases the week post-auction.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah.
Get crystal ball out. And where do you see the market for, I guess, eastern suburbs in general, but in particular, Randwick, Coogee, those kind of areas in the next kind of 6 to 12 months? Obviously, all the interest rate rises and stuff.
Yeah.
How do you see it kind of playing out?
Well, look, like you said, it's all very crystal ball stuff. We'd all love to say we know what's going to happen, but given what we're seeing in the market, we had what was meant to be another rate rise on yesterday, but instead they decided to keep the rates the same. I think that's the first sign of some sort of positivity when it comes to rates.
Yeah, sure.
At the same time, though, it is a bit of a double-edged sword. A lot of people that I've been chatting with that aren't really tied to a timeline but do want to sell.
Yeah.
Have been holding out, waiting for the first sort of signs of positivity.
Yep.
I guess the downside to that is if everyone's waiting to see some sort of positivity, as soon as we do see our first rate drop, or even like we had yesterday where the rates didn't move up,
yep,
a lot of people will decide to pull the trigger now, which will mean an influx of stock, which is something we haven't had for quite a while.
Yeah.
Once buyers have a lot more choice, that's
yep,
when prices tend to dip.
Yeah, it's a good point. Let's say I want to buy a semi, right? And
yes,
looking at a semi, let's say Randwick. What's the entry level for me to kind of get into a semi? What's that kind of price?
Entry level, somewhere in the early twos, maybe 2.3, 2.4, and that would be for something that needs a bit of work on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can find some that go for a little bit less, but that don't come up too often.
Yeah, gotcha. And let's stay on the theme of semis. Had something at Bondi not long ago. You just sold it.
Yeah, Grove Street.
Let's unpack that one. Yeah. So I guess tell me a little bit more about that one.
So we had that one is a good example of something that took a little bit longer to sell, but ended up going for a really great price.
Yeah.
We had, I'd say, close to 100 buyers inspected in the 8 or 9 weeks it was on the market.
Yep.
So yeah, it was on the market for a length of time. But look, at the end of the day, we had a buyer on it that was on it from the very beginning. They just didn't quite have the budget for it, but they stayed on it throughout the whole process and eventually ended up going back and getting a little bit more money from the bank and ended up buying it.
Yeah, and probably going back to what we were chatting earlier, the buyers are there, they're just taking a little bit longer.
Exactly.
If it's an extra 1, 2, 3 weeks, whatever that may be, someone's going to snap it up. It's just that, I guess, that kind of timelines.
Exactly.
Stretched down.
I think as well, tying into the low stocks, those buyers saw it. It would have been maybe in the second week of the campaign. They really liked it. They just didn't quite have the budget for it, as I said, but they went out and had a look at what else was out there, which there really wasn't anything out there. So
yep,
I think that's what kept it top of their preference list for, the remaining 6 or 7 weeks. The fact that they looked at what else is there, nothing else really suited them. they went back to the drawing board and they said, well, look, this is a house for us where we're just going to have to, talk about the logistics and make it work.
Yeah, even I had a look at that one with my client. I needed a car space. So that one to have one. So I was out early anyway. Yeah, great listing. But let's just chat about one or two of your current listings at the moment.
Yes.
What do you want to dive into?
Got a couple on at the moment. I've got a pretty good auction that we'll have tonight on a bit of an outer area one for us on King Street, Mascot.
Okay.
Actually been a very good campaign. We've had maybe 80 or 90 buyers through in 4 weeks. I'm expecting 6 or 7 registered bidders tonight, which is an auction I haven't had, with that many registered bidders in quite some time, since probably the hot market.
Yeah.
A lot of the auctions I've ran recently have been 2, maybe 3 registered bidders.
Yep.
So yeah, that should be a really good one. Very different style of market though.
Yeah, and so why does that one have 7, 8, 9 bidders on it? And what's the unique thing about that property?
I think it ties into the value for money. Mascot being in the Eastern Suburbs, but being at a very affordable price point, it draws a lot of first home buyers who want to stay in the Eastern Suburbs but get a bit more bang for their buck.
Yeah.
I mean, comparing what you can buy for $1.5 million in Randwick to what you can buy in Mascot, they're worlds apart. You can buy a nice freestanding home, something between 350 square meters. Comparing it to Randwick, $1.5 million, you can buy yourself a really nicely renovated 2-bedroom, maybe a 3-bedroom apartment.
Yeah. Gotcha. Mate, thank you so much for joining the carpool. How do I get in contact with you if I'm a buyer or a seller? Contact details.
My number's 0466 110 253. You can just pop into our office. We're there at 1 Albion Street, Waverley, next to Frank's Deli.
Thanks, mate. You're a legend.
Thank you.